So, you're looking to put together a Myrkul Lord of Bones commander deck, but you're not quite sure where to start? Well, I'm here to help. My name's Capital G, and welcome to the first 10. Myrkul, Lord of Bones, coming in from the new Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. Very impressive Obzon commander. I'm super excited for this one, actually. I don't actually have an Obzon deck built at the moment, and this is the first one that's really, got me, shall we say. So, why am I so excited for this? Well, 7/5 for 7 mana, pretty good. It's indestructible if our life total is less than half of our starting life total, also pretty decent. And whenever another non-token creature we control dies, we may exile it. If we do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except that it's an enchantment and loses all other card types. Hence why I've got Greater Oromancy showing right off the hop. So for those joining us here on the first 10, of course, these are the first 10 cards I would consider for a Myrkul deck, and believe me, I am strongly considering this one. So Greater Oromancy is a great place to start because it gives other enchantments and enchanted creatures we control Shroud. Yeah, just make it really, really hard for our opponents to remove those enchantment tokens, because once the tokens are removed, then that's it. We're not getting them back in any way, shape, or form. So Greater Oromancy is a great way to keep our board intact. Obviously, we want creatures to die, so a good place to sacrifice them to, of course, is the Birthing Pod, because then we can sack off one of our creatures, go get another one right away. And of course, with our commander out, that would mean that the sacrificed creature becomes an enchantment and does its thing. So the kind of creatures we're looking for, and I've got 6 that I kind of want to showcase, are those with activated or static abilities. We activated, triggered, or static, but nothing involving combat. So let's look at Archon of Sun's Grace, for example. It's got flying and lifelink, which won't be relevant once it's an enchantment. Pegasus creatures we control have lifelink, which will be relevant because of the constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under our control, we can create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. By the way, please never ever play this card with Enchanted Evening. Enchanted Evening is a card that turns everything into enchantment, and that creates an infinite loop lock. Like, you cannot break that, so please do not do that. With that rant out of the way, hey, all our creatures are becoming enchantments, so that means we're going to get more and more flying lifelink Pegasi. I will gladly accept that. Other creatures with cool abilities that I wanted to highlight: Bramble Sovereign, because we're getting a much needed reprint in Baldur's Gate. Green 2 for this 4/4 Dryad, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, we may pay green and 1, and if we do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. So obviously we're going to use it primarily on our creatures, but there may be occasions where we might feel generous and benevolent and give one of our opponents an extra something. Deathrite Shaman. Now this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Costs either a black or a green. We can tap it, exile a land from a graveyard to get a mana of any color, or exile an instant or sorcery from a graveyard to have each opponent lose 2 life. Or we can exile a creature card from a graveyard and gain 2 life. All great abilities, and the answer to your question is yes, you can tap enchantments. It's very, very rare to have an enchantment with a tap ability. I believe there's only like 1 or 2 in the history of the game up to this point. But when this becomes an enchantment, well, it's no longer a creature, so it's not sick. We can actually start using it for these abilities right away. So be sure to remember to look for that tap symbol on a creature, because hey, once that thing dies and becomes an enchantment token, there's nothing slowing it down. Onwards to Platinum Angel. Some creatures just have a really, really powerful static ability. In this case, we can't lose the game. Our opponents cannot win the game. So this is the kind of thing that we want to use to protect us, the player, because as long as this is sticking on the board, and it's really, really sticky already as a creature, even more so when it's an enchantment, our opponents have to basically remove it twice in order to prevent us from gaining this solid defense. Mana Dorks. Mana Dorks are excellent for this deck to ramp out our commander, Sanctum Weaver especially so because of its synergies with enchantments. It taps for X mana of any one color, where X is the number of enchantments we control. But even things like, say, Llanowar Elves, Elves of Deep Shadow, Avacyn's Pilgrim. Those are great additions to the deck as well, because even once they die, so long as they died and our commander saw it happen, they'll come right back as enchantment tokens, and all of a sudden we have enchantment tokens that tap for mana. So yes, please. Torma the Desecrator. Okay, why is this here? Well, the way the trigger is set up, creature dies and hits the graveyard, our commander triggers, we then decide whether or not to exile the creature. If we do, not only are we getting the enchantment token, but thanks to Tormod, we are also getting the zombie token. Thought it was a nice little fit here. But yeah, these are the kind of things we want to look for in building a deck like this. Be sure to put down in the comments some of your favorite creatures that you want to see turned into an enchantment. But we do have room for a couple more cards, so let us look at one proper enchantment that I do want to have in the deck, and that is the Starfield of Next. At the beginning of our upkeep, we may return an enchantment card from our graveyard to the battlefield. We may or may not run too many, depending on what you want to do. But as long as we control 5 or more enchantments, each other non-aura enchantment we control is a creature, in addition to its other type, and has base power and toughness equal to their converted mana cost. So yeah, all of a sudden, our enchantments are creatures again and can swing out. A nice play to make, especially after a board wipe. You don't rush out a Starfield of Next, you wait till after the board wipe to drop this and swing out and start knocking people out of the game. And the last thing we're going to need is a little bit of defense. So Blacksmith Skill and bonus card Tamiyo's Safekeeping both give target permanent hexproof and indestructible until end of turn for the low cost of 1 mana. So this will help us keep our most important enchantments on the battlefield. This will help us protect our commander if he's targeted by exile effects, or we haven't quite hit that 20 life threshold yet. Either way, be sure to pack some defense, because once people see that your board is as sticky as it is, people are going to throw a lot of removal at you, so be sure to counter it with things like the Blacksmith Skill. And that, of course, is our take on Myrkul, Lord of Bones. I hope you all enjoyed that. And, well, I'm going to be going on vacation, so I figured I wanted to get this one out before I disappeared for the next week and a half. I'm normally pretty quiet during spoiler seasons anyways, but this is a commander that's got me excited, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excellent cards that we can toss in from the Baldur's Gate set itself. So with that in mind, I will see you all sometime after I get back. Be sure to follow me on TikTok in case I've got some shenaniganry going on during my trip. I've got lots of magic and music content on there. I'm not a composer, but I just like talking about my music CDs, and I've got a whole bunch that I'm going to try to record while I am away, so be sure to check that out. The link will be in the description below, and until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, enjoy spoiler season, and we will see you once the set has been fully spoiled. Blah. Getting tired, getting excited for my trip. Time for me to go. Bye-bye.